Hello, my name is Magenta. Thank you for joining me for Walking Through Life. I'd like to share my experience with the menopause and HRT with you today. I've been on HRT now for 13 years, since I was 52, and I have no plans to stop taking it. I started the menopause at around about 50, and at that time there were lots of scare stories, the same as there are today about HRT, and I personally think they're similar to the scare stories you get about the food. One minute they're okay, the next minute they're not. And of course, anyone that was contemplating taking HRT back then, it just frightened the life out of them, as it did myself. So I set about looking for so-called natural remedies for the menopause. And I tried anything and everything back then. Black cohosh, wild yam, red clover, soya tablets, soya food, specially developed preparations for the menopause. I tried absolutely everything on the market and nothing worked. At the end of the day, these are just supplements. And I have no problem with supplements. I take lots of supplements, but they are not HRT, and they're not a substitute to HRT. By now, my symptoms were getting worse, and there are some people that would say, why don't you let nature take its course? And everyone's entitled to their own opinions and their own points of view, and we have choices in life. Letting nature take its course is looking forward to the rest of your life with thinning hair and hair loss, and that itself is enough to make you totally depressed. Osteoporosis, leaving you with brittle bones, susceptible to fractures, weakened spine, pain in your joints, very thin and dry skin. Your skin turns like paper. And you certainly won't recognise down there, that's for sure, because that down there turns into a piece of fabric and it is unrecognisable. And I thought, do I really want to spend the rest of my life living like this? Because we live longer now, and the answer was no. And I thought to myself, well, you don't have to be on HRT to get cancer. You can get cancer at any age. And of course, not everybody can take HRT. So I decided to go to my GP and get some estrogen back into my depleted body. By now my symptoms were unbearable. I was feeling so down, so depressed. And I had back then I had a wonderful male doctor. He was so patient, so understanding, and we tried so many combinations. And HRT is a little bit like the combination pill. I remember I had the same problem with the contraceptive pill back then, and I think I must have tried about 15 different types before I found the right contraceptive for me back then. And HRT is more or less the same. You have to try so many before you find the one that's suitable for you. And this went on for quite a while, and it took about a year. I'll just show you the amount I tried. These are all, if you can see these are all the HRT that I have tried. Half of them actually are thrown away. This is only some of them that were giving me side effects. And my side effects were pain down at the back of my calves, a pain up the side of my neck, which came up to the top of my head and gave me like a migraine type headache. And eventually, after about a year of trying all these different preparations, I found one that actually suited me, and it's the only one that I'm able to take, and which is called cycloprogenova. Now this is a combined tablet. It has progesterone in it also, estrogen and progesterone, because you need progesterone if you have your womb still, and I still have my womb, so I need the progesterone. But if you don't have your womb, if it's been removed, all you need is the estrogen. Anyway, after about a week of taking this HRT, it was like a miracle had happened, and the difference was so obvious. I could actually recognize that again back down there, and believe me, there is nothing that's going to plump that baby back up to the way it was apart from prescription HRT. There is nothing that you can buy over the counter that's going to get that back to normal. And by the second week, my body was back to normal, was exactly the same as it was before the menopause. It was just unbelievable. There are so many benefits to taking HRT, but sadly we only hear the negatives. But with the right combination for you, it can transform your life. Your symptoms will cease, and your body will just go back to normal as if the menopause didn't exist. Now, I continued taking my cycloprogenova right up to about 18 months ago, and I went back to my GP to get another prescription for it. Went to the pharmacy and they told me that it's been discontinued. I went to another pharmacy directly after, and they said to me they couldn't get it any longer. So of course panic started to set in now. I thought, if this has been discontinued, it's taken me so long to find this tablet that's perfect for my body, and if it's been discontinued, what am I going to do? So I frantically started ringing around all the pharmacies to see if anybody had any packets. I managed to find 4 spare packets, but then once they're finished, you're back to square one. I contacted the manufacturers who confirmed to me that it had been discontinued and they were no longer going to be manufacturing it in those two combinations. Then I thought, what am I going to do now? And I thought, well, I'll have a look on the internet, and I found it on the internet, and the packaging was exactly the same. It looked the same as the one that I've got. But I thought, if it's been discontinued and it's not being manufactured anymore, where are they getting it from? And I thought, what could be inside those tablets? What would the ingredients be? So I gave up on that idea. So I went back to see a doctor. By now, time has moved on, and I now have another female doctor this time. I explained everything to her, that I had side effects with everything, and she said to me, oh well, if you're getting side effects with them all, why don't you just stop taking it? And I thought, obviously I'm not going to have any kind of rapport with this doctor, so I found myself another doctor. But I don't know about you, but I have found that GPs are not very knowledgeable about HRT. And I'd love to know what you think about it. And if your doctor's not helpful, the best thing you can do is change your doctor, because you really need rapport with a doctor. At the end of the day, our good health and well-being is paramount. And there are good doctors out there, it's just finding the right one. And don't give up on yourself. I now have another wonderful patient doctor, and I went back to square one and I tried everything all over again, including the new bio-identical hormones, but they've had no effect there. I have exactly the same problem with the bio-identical hormones that I did with the other normal hormones. So I now have two separate combinations I have to take. I have to take a separate estrogen and a separate progesterone, but hey, it works for me now and I'm happy with it. And I think if something keeps your body strong and healthy, why shouldn't you take it? Because our life expectancy is longer now. So I'd love to hear your experiences with HRT. So feel free to like and comment. Look after you, and I'll see you next time.